So in essence, how is the first atom created? When we bring the soul of physicality and the soul of the man together, the interaction of the field creates the physicality of the man, and it maintains that physical condition. We call it the body of the man. And when, in the essence of the creation of the universe, mankind understand this, man in the world of the science should be able soon to develop technologies that would lead to understanding of a new science, science of the plasma, science of understanding work of the universal plasma. In the interaction of the fields, the residual fields lead to creation of the plasmas. This we know for a long time. When we created these plasmas, in understanding of the structure and the interaction, they create what we know as twinity. They interact with each other. And in that process of interaction, some loses energy and some gains energy. And at a given point, when the interaction of the two fields cannot sustain totality of the energy due to the losses to the environment, something very simple happens. The one which has held to more energy or plasmatic condition will stay. The one who's lost will split and lead to the creation of first atomic structure. As this still interacts with the totality of the two, and this interacts with the totality of one entity. And in total, we see the structure of an atom. In reality, a creation of what we call atomic deuterium comes from the interaction of two neutrons. That as one loses fields as a twin set, it leads to the creation of a proton, electron, and a neutron, which the interaction of them by themselves create the atmospheric environment which manifests itself as a single atom. Then, in the interaction of these fields with the fields or planetary fields of a space, will lead us to creation of the matter state. So we can have the existence of both plasma and matter state simultaneously in both dimensions from any element, depending on what we condition the environment to, that what that plasma will manifest itself in the form of. In so many ways, for the first time in the world of science and technology and physics and subatomic physics, we understand how the first atoms are created, where they come from the interaction of magnetic fields of two what we call volume of fields in plasmatic condition that in losing one divides itself to maintain the property of the interaction between the two original neutrons, and hence leads to creation of what we call trinity of electron, proton and neutron. Then what has been one of the biggest dilemmas in the world of physics has been how some elements have additional neutrons in the space gap of their elements of protons, where we find less electrons in comparison to the neutron existence. Would there be a time when the neutrons in an atom will split and become another electron and proton without the structure breaking up? Yes, from now on these things are possible. In a way, in the nuclear atomic physics of the universe, we can allow every neutron to be converted into an electron and a proton on its own, and then at the same time, due to interference and interaction between the fields of the new entity, create a new material that man did never know can exist. By conversion of neutrons to electron and proton within the center of any nuclear or the nucleus of heavy elements, man can increase in a new dimension and create new matters that has never been achieved. But with creating a magnetic field environment of holding, new elements can be created. Today's knowledge is deeply embedded in the plasma technology of the space, is embedded in the plasma technology of the universe. And as I taught you about the 5 cups, in the coming time, this knowledge, the teaching of today, becomes the cornerstone and in a way the in the alphabet of the universal knowledge of plasma. If you do not know how the first atom is created, how do you want to handle the bigger or convert to? The creation of atomic structure and the fundamental atom and deuterium will be one of the keys for mankind entry to universal community knowledge of creation. Without it, mankind will be paralyzed. The knowledge will not be complete, and forever, as you never understood the initial algebra, how do you want to do heavy calculus and the rest of it? The cornerstone of the teaching, what I call the creation of the fundamental plasma and the fundamental atom, as we've seen in the past week and today, is the stepping stone for mankind to learn how to change and create matter and elements in the universe. How can we create the condition that 2 plasmas of a neutron come together, that they can lead to the creation of atom? At the moment, human race has has achieved the division of the atom to create new elements. What we call the fusion of elements has not been possible, not even in the simple state of it. But if you understood the teaching of today, mankind can create any element in the universe without the creation of the fusion. But creating amalgamation of the field forces of the universe in one package, that in the presence of the creation of the gravitational field forces of the central principal matter of the unicos, then the size, the shape, and the energy field forces of that single neutron or a fundamental plasma is dictated. Do not forget, if you have read the books, the size of the neutron in this universe is very much different than the universe next to us and the other universes, because due to the fundamental field strength of the center and the environment that the cosmos of unicos allows, then that dictates the strength of the neutron or the amount of the energies which are within the neutron in each universe. The common denominator is not the neutron. The common denominator is the fundamental rays and photons and particles, which have no structure but dynamic field forces of their creation and the interaction with the field forces of their environment. Teaching of today might be heavy for some of you, but those who understand will be able to break into the space technology for production of everything they could imagine, from the soul of the man to the hydrogen, in an instance. I've been asked to explain that you understand. I cannot explain it any simpler than this.